Hey guys! So this is a follow-up video to my most recent blog post about introducing the clicker. We're gonna get started watching Cash and how I introduce clicker training in the very beginning. We start off with targeting, which is pretty straightforward. You're going to have an object that the horse is not familiar with, and you're going to hold it out at a distance where they can reach it, but also are not able to reach you, since we want a barrier in between you and your horse for safety in the beginning until they understand the rules with clicker training. So you'll watch Cash here. He is noticing the target. He has been target trained before, but never with this object. So this is a new object for him. But he catches on really quick. It may take your horse more time to understand what it is that's being asked. It may take multiple sessions. Just keep the sessions short and positive, and always end on a good note. Sometimes you may only get 1 or 2 touches, and that's okay. Next, we're going to continue card targeting, but we're going to add a little bit more difficulty to it. We're going to have our arm at different lengths, up and down, whereas before we wanted to keep the target really close within reach. That was really simple. You can even keep it in the same exact position. But as you want to increase difficulty, you'll move the target into different areas. That are a little bit more difficult for them to reach, or just outside of the normal, just straight in front of them. So you'll notice I'm going to go up with my hand, and I'll also go down. Obviously you need to make it easy for them to reach, but you want to add complexity to it so you can really see whether or not they understand the idea of targeting. I recommend using a tool that you can easily hold, that you'll be able to use in other areas, such as moving target training, or if you want them to target and stand still, something that's easily accessible and easy to hold, but also obvious for them to see. You'll notice this is bright orange. I also have another target tool that I prefer, which is on a stick, and it has like a big white ball on the end. But for these videos, I wanted to use something different since he already knew what to do with the other target. He's a very slow eater, so he takes his time in between each target. But that's okay. Just give him time, pause for effect, be patient. But as soon as he touches that target, it's click, treat. And the idea is you're essentially loading the clicker so they learn that click sound, or a word or a different sound that you choose to make means a treat is coming. That will be beneficial to us later. You might have to move the target around a little bit to grab their attention, but it shouldn't be too difficult for them to catch on to this. Sometimes it takes a few sessions. With Cash, I'm only needing to do 1 or 2 sessions just because he already knows how to target. But with a new horse that's never done any positive reinforcement training, I will usually do more like 4 to 6 short sessions, possibly only as long as 4 to 5 minutes long. So next what we're going to do is we're going to introduce manners. So now that the horse understands what the clicker means and positive reinforcement means, I'm going to continue using a barrier for safety, but we're going to be teaching the horse to keep its head away from you. You'll see I'm watching for Cash to turn his head to the side, or basically any behavior other than trying to get to the treats in your hand or in your pocket. This is critical for using positive reinforcement. This is the most valuable lesson you can teach your horse, and it is the baseline for everything else. I only teach this second because I want them to understand what the clicker means so they do not get frustrated. But I use a barrier in the beginning until they understand the ground rules. This is how you teach your horse not to be greedy or pushy, and to not be demanding. So the only way he gets a treat is if he keeps his head away from me. And eventually we'll add in keeping space and standing quietly and relaxed. But notice he's figured it out. He's just keeping his head away from me. He's not even barely bringing it towards me. You want to make sure and give them the reward while their head is still away. If you click and they bring their head towards you, Just pause and wait a minute until they push their head away from you again, and then you take the treat to them. Do not give them the treat next to your body. The trick is to teach them that everything good comes actually away from your body. You'll notice I'm changing positions left, right, and in front of them. This is also necessary because they can become one-sided. They can learn, okay, only manners when the handler's on my left. But we don't want that. We want them, no matter where we're standing, they have manners. I'm just looking for a relaxed, positive expression on Cash's face. Everything should be relaxed. No stress, no barging the door, just nice and relaxed. Next, I'm going to show you what manners look like without a barrier. This is where you'll move on to next once your horse has completely grasped the concept of manners. I'm using Tiger here. She has been doing this for a while now, and she's really good at it. Although out of all my horses, she's taken the longest to teach manners too, which is funny because she never had treats before she came to me. But I accidentally had some errors in the beginning of her training when I was first starting to use positive reinforcement, so I'm now undoing all of that. You'll notice she puts her head down. I've reinforced this behavior because this is a sign that the horse is calm and relaxed. Her ears are happy. She has a happy expression on her face, and her head is down, so she's nice and relaxed. Everything is positive. I'm waiting for her head to be away from me, and you'll notice my hand goes down to her mouth, not her head to my hand. You'll also start extending the length of time you expect them to keep their head away and maintain manners to the point where they won't need it this frequent of a reinforcement rate. Okay, so here what you're seeing is I'm actually upping the criteria. I have treats in my hand and I'm putting them out in front of her. I expect her to still maintain manners and keep her head away. Those treats have not been brought to her mouth, so she is not supposed to touch them. At first she was like, "What are you doing?" And now she's got it, you'll see. I'm switching sides too, because again, we want to make sure and move all over the place. Every time you change position and you change the criteria, you need to go back to basics. Don't expect them just because you're in a new environment or in a new position just to pick up where you left off. You might have to backtrack a few steps and then go back to it. So now what we're working on is just continuing to make it a little bit more difficult for her. This is actually the first time I've done this with her. I want to really nail in that the treats are not for you unless they are under your mouth. There I'm shaking my pocket even. I want to shake buckets. I want to shake the treats in my pocket. Nothing should trigger poor manners. Everything should always be happy and relaxed, and you get your treat by acting politely. Hopefully you guys will get a better understanding of how these basics will develop really good manners in your horses, so that it actually, a lot of people ask, do treats make my horse pushy or needy? Well, they can, unless you train them not to be. It's all about what you're reinforcing. If you reinforce that pushy behavior, then you're going to have a pushy horse. But you'll notice I'm only rewarding happy, calm, non-pushy behavior, and my horses will be non-pushy and happy and calm. Well, thanks guys for watching. I hope this clarified a little bit for you guys how to get started with clicker training, and make sure and check out my website, and I will talk to you guys later.